From ABC, this is World News Tonight with Peter Jennings.
Good evening. It's almost always the case. Americans believe the state of the economy is the most important issue in the presidential campaign, and we begin tonight with the economy. The federal government tells us today that the annual rate of inflation, based on this month's consumer prices, is still running at about 5%, at about the same as last month. Housing construction is down by a little. Personal incomes went up by a very modest amount, and so did salaries. In general terms, this monthly snapshot of the economy is a pretty good one. No boom, but no recession. Which brings us to the politics of it all. Here's ABC's Ken Pruitt.
Are you better off than you were 4 years ago?
In 1980, the answer was no. Voters sent Ronald Reagan to the White House.
Is America better off than it was 4 years ago?
In 1984, the answer was yes. Reagan was reelected. And in 1988, if you ask economists...
The here and now of the economy is terrific in terms of where the country is and most American families are relative to 8 years ago.
And most importantly, the job outlook is very solid right now.
Clearly, interest rates are lower, inflation is under control, the stock market is higher, per capita incomes are up, and that famous discomfort index is down.
The discomfort index helped Jimmy Carter defeat Gerald Ford in 1976. It's the inflation rate added to the unemployment rate. Back then, it was 13.5. Reagan beat Carter with it in 1980 when it was up to 20.6. And now, after 8 years of Reagan, it's down to just over 9. But there are still some problems with the economy.
We have some huge imbalances. We have this huge budget deficit. We have huge trade deficits. This is not all peaches and cream. Our children may end up being forced to earn money to pay taxes, to pay off the bondholders.
Since the recession ended 6 years ago, there have been 3 small slumps. The one in manufacturing is over. Manufacturing is booming now. The farm economy seems to be pulling out of its slump. And the stock market crash last fall has led to a small slump on Wall Street.
It could very well be that recessions, as we used to know them, might be a thing of the past, but it doesn't mean that every part of the economy will be going on 8 cylinders all the time.
Michael Dukakis says it's a Swiss cheese economy. It's uneven. Many families need more than one paycheck to keep their living standards high. And economists agree with that. But economists also say that when you look at the overall economy, the average American voter is doing fine. Recent evidence shows that unemployment is very low, and today's report shows inflation is under control. And that makes the economic issues a difficult pitch for the Democrats. Ken Pruitt, ABC News, New York.
If the candidates have not yet debated the economy to your satisfaction, perhaps this Sunday night. Today, the 2 presidential campaigns have been preparing for the first debate in North Carolina on Sunday, that moment in the campaign which could give one or the other a decisive edge. And they've also been debating those little things which their handlers believe will make such a difference. First, from the Bush campaign, ABC's Britt Hume.
The vice president spent the day getting ready for the debate, but took time for lunch with the president, who told reporters his advice to Bush.
Take no prisoners.
There has been negotiation worthy of an arms treaty over the debate format. The candidates will stand, not sit. The Dukakis camp wanted a lectern no higher than 44 inches. Fine for the 5'8" Dukakis, who sometimes has to stand on something, but awkward for the 6'1" Bush, who would have to crouch at a low lectern. It was resolved that each would have whatever height lectern he wanted. Another impasse is over who asks the questions at what, like most recent presidential debates, will be more of a joint news conference. The Dukakis camp wants the 4-network anchorman, presumably to attract a bigger TV audience. The Bush camp, not wanting to magnify the event, says that's unfair. It wants both print and broadcast journalists. 4 years ago, the Reagan and Mondale camps fought over the panel right up to the day of the first debate. There's no mystery about what's going on here. Bush, better known and now slightly ahead in most polls, doesn't want to make the debate the Super Bowl of the campaign. Dukakis, unlike Bush, a lawyer, is a seasoned broadcast performer from his days on the Advocates TV series and would be helped by a strong performance in a face-to-face or at least side-by-side confrontation. For all the haggling over the structure, and though this won't, strictly speaking, be a debate, Sunday's face-off will make history, if only because it will be the first event of this campaign with the candidates not in complete control of either the setting or the subjects. Britt Hume, ABC News, Washington.
Michael Dukakis spent much of today preparing for the debate as well. He did make one public appearance at a Boston hospital. Here's Sam Donaldson.
Even as he began his debate preparations, Governor Dukakis, for the second day in a row, outlined a proposal in the health field on prenatal care for pregnant women. With the help of his daughter-in-law, Lisa, who's expecting the Dukakis' first grandchild in January, he proposed an ambitious national program.
We're going to reach out to every pregnant woman in this country to make sure that she gets early and adequate prenatal care. If we find she has no health insurance, we're going to pay for her care and make sure that that care is available.
That program would cost taxpayers an estimated $100 million yearly. Far less, according to experts, than the present cost of dealing with child health problems that might have been avoided by prenatal care. Dukakis accused his opponent of ignoring the problem.
When children and their families have needed a helping hand, Mr. Bush's administration has given them a cold shoulder.
One of those who helped Dukakis plug for his program was New Jersey Senator Bill Bradley, who also was in Boston to give Dukakis his advice on Sunday's big debate. The governor spent time today going over his debate briefing book with advisors. He tried to project a certain jaunty confidence.
Can you tell us how you're going to prepare for the debate?
Just looking forward to it, getting ready.
It'll be fun.
Fun is not exactly the word Dukakis' aides would use. Critical is more like it. They see this debate as the governor's best chance to break away from Bush. Perhaps his last chance. Sam Donaldson, ABC News, Boston.
When we come back, arson and gunfire break out again in a disputed region of Soviet Azerbaijan. And later in our broadcast, the court system, too crowded? You can now rent a judge. And do you love Elvis? You can now get your fill in Cincinnati.
This is World News Tonight with Peter Jennings. Brought to you by the fun ships of Carnival Cruise Line.